What a strange scene it was out at St. Vincent College. Imagine this, a professional football team. Your Pittsburgh Steelers, decked out in full pads, supposed to be out there cracking helmets, running real drills, getting that gritty work in. But instead there they are, shuffling plays on a basketball court. I mean, if someone had told me yesterday morning that I'd see a walkthrough inside a gym, I would have laughed it off. But that's exactly what went down, and look, it wasn't by choice. The weather had its say. Aaron Rodgers had just floated a light touch touchdown and a non-contact drill to DK Metcalf. Yeah, one of those fake practice moments that are just enough to keep things moving, but don't really count, and suddenly, off in the distance, you hear it. One loud crack of thunder, just one, but that was all it took. Players start glancing around. Coaches check the skies, and then that voice booms over the loudspeaker. Something like, "Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please," and right then, you knew. Practice was over. That's it. No full contact reps, no real trench battles, no backs on backers, which everyone had been hyped to see. It all vanished in an instant, and yeah, they tried to make the most of it inside the gym, going over schemes and formations, doing the walk-through thing, but everyone knew it was a lost day. And not just any day, a padded day, the kind of day that actually matters for evaluation. The kind of day where coaches learn who's about that life, who can deliver when the tempo rises. So, naturally, it just makes us even more antsy for the next one. Because when those pads come back on, the intensity jumps with them. And if there's one player I cannot wait to watch when that moment hits, it's Keanu Benton. This defensive line is going to be one of the stories of camp. And Benton looks primed for a real second-year jump, but just like yesterday, I bet what'll grab everyone's attention won't even be the lineman at first. It'll be a formation. It'll be something weird. It'll be something like, wait, is that Darnell Washington at left tackle? And you laugh, but that's exactly what I thought yesterday for a hot second. It was one of those formations where both tackles shift to the right, and Darnell squeezes in on the left side, lined up tight to the guard. Visually, it messes with your head. He's massive, so it instantly looks like he's the left tackle. But no, not really. Still, you can't blame me for wondering. And look, I get the feeling some of you out there are wondering the same thing, not necessarily about Darnell becoming a tackle, but more about ways to shuffle this offensive line so Broderick Jones doesn't end up costing the team something big. And if that's the vibe you're putting out, you're not alone. Most of the feedback I've been getting over the last few days has this strange mix. Hey, we're feeling good, things are looking solid, but what's going on with Broderick? You can almost feel the hesitation in the air. And I've got a couple of things to say about that. First off, nothing, and I mean nothing, that Broderick has done so far in this camp truly matters yet. Yeah, I've seen the clips. I've seen him lose a couple of reps in drills. One of them even went viral because someone in the crowd filmed it and tossed it up online. Looked bad. I won't lie, but let's be real, none of those reps had pads, no physicality. And if you know anything about football, real football, you know trying to evaluate line play without contact is nonsense, pure nonsense. That's like judging a fighter based on how he jumps rope. You can't tell how a lineman's going to hold up until he's got someone slamming into his chest at full speed, until he's got to sink, anchor, recover, and fight back. Until then, it's just dancing in pajamas. So let's pump the brakes on burying the kid just because of a clip with no pads. And here's something else worth saying. Broderick has actually done a lot to reshape his body this offseason. Not necessarily in the lose weight kind of way, but he's transformed it. Leaner, more mobile. You can tell he's working toward becoming more adaptable on the fly. Especially when someone gets the first move on him. That's a big deal. That's what development looks like. You don't just wake up a finished product in this league now. Back to yesterday's indoor shuffle session. Just because practice moved to the gym, don't think guys like Broderick got a pass. No chance. Mike Tomlin made it very clear that he expects Broderick to be out there at the next opportunity. Declared it loud and proud before practice even got canceled. Which lines up perfectly with what we've seen from Tomlin over the years. He doesn't mess around when it comes to reps. You show up, you work, period. Last season, Broderick would sometimes wander over and tell reporters what was bothering him, hamstring tightness, soreness, whatever it might have been. And again, he wasn't whining. He was just being open, but then we'd ask Tomlin about it and he'd go, did he miss any reps? Nope. Okay, next question. That's it. That's the standard. So don't be surprised if that same dynamic is back. You feel something. Fine. Wrap it. Get your treatment. but unless your leg is falling off, you're practicing. And honestly, the pressure Broderick's feeling inside that locker room, from the coaches, from the expectations that dwarfs anything the media or fans could ever put on him. We talk, they push, and that pressure, it's not just on Broderick. It's on everyone across that offensive line. Take Zach Frazier. The kid had a stellar rookie year, maybe even snuck into that top 5 conversation at center, but that doesn't matter anymore. He knows it. He's got to do it again in year 2. That's the league. One good year means nothing if you don't back it up. Then there's Spencer Anderson. With Isaac Sumalo out, this is his chance. He's got to show he belongs. He's got to show he can be more than just a depth piece, because he's backing up both guard spots right now. And come next season, you better believe he's going to be on the field one way or another. These guys aren't just playing for a job. They're playing to prove they're part of something real, something sustainable. Troy Fontenot, man, he had that one magical game last season in Denver, 5-5 snaps, dominated, and then nothing. That was it. He vanished from the lineup. You talk to him now, and he'll tell you straight up he doesn't feel like he's proven a thing. He wants that shot. He needs that shot. He's got a fire under him. You can see it in the way he's carrying himself. Even Mason McCormick, who actually got meaningful reps last year because James Daniels went down early, played the whole season, gave up only 2 sacks. But guess what? Both of those sacks came in the playoff game, and you know that's what's sticking with him. He's thinking about that every day, because when the lights were brightest, that's when the cracks showed. He said it himself, this line isn't as young as it was a year ago. They're still young, yeah, but now it's time to level up. It's not about learning anymore. It's about executing. It's about owning their identity. And the pressure's only going to grow. Because if there's one thing the Steelers want, it's dominance up front. You don't bring in a bruising backfield and a tough, mobile quarterback just to get beat. In the trenches, you build from the line out, and this year, there's no hiding. Every mistake will be magnified. Every missed block will be a headline, and on top of all that, there's this looming question, with all the cap space they're sitting on. Why haven't the Steelers added help at wide receiver or tackle? I've heard that question from fans non-stop. People are starting to get anxious. $17.5 million just sitting there. You look around the league, you see guys still unsigned, and it's easy to go, come on, Omar. What are we doing here? All right, let's dig into this whole cap space and roster building situation, because it's been the elephant in the room. For weeks now, fans have been asking, with nearly $17.5 million in cap space still available, why hasn't the Steelers front office made that splash signing at wide receiver? Or brought in a high-profile backup tackle? It's a fair question, especially considering last year's wide receiver drama still stings for some people. The way things unfolded left a bad taste, the inconsistent production, the injuries, and then the late arrival of Mike Williams, who, while talented, wasn't exactly the game-changer many hoped for. It felt like a missed opportunity. I want to take a moment here to talk about Omar Khan, the Steelers' general manager, because he's often the target of a lot of frustration from fans, and I get it. Football is emotional. We want instant results. And when a team sits on cap space or doesn't make the obvious moves, it feels like they're sleeping at the wheel. But Omar's job, it's incredibly complex. His role isn't to keep fans happy. It's to manage a team's long-term success while balancing short-term needs, financial constraints, and a whole bunch of moving parts that the public doesn't always see. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. There's a fresh buzz swirling around the NFL landscape, and it centers on one of the league's most intriguing offensive linemen, Jordan Mailata. Rumors have been intensifying this week, pointing to a possible seismic move that could shake up the Pittsburgh Steelers roster and offensive line for the upcoming season. While nothing has been officially announced just yet, sources close to the team are hinting that Mailata has arrived at Steelers headquarters, fueling speculation that a contract signing might be imminent. Jordan Mailata, who has captivated fans and analysts alike with his unique journey to professional football, is no stranger to defying expectations. Originally a rugby player from Australia with no formal football experience, Mailata's transition to the NFL has been nothing short of remarkable. Drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles into 2018 as a raw project, he has since evolved into one of the most promising offensive tackles in the league. His size, agility, and developing technical prowess have made him a cornerstone of the Eagles' offensive line, protecting the quarterback and opening up running lanes with a combination of power and surprising finesse. Now, whispers suggest that the Steelers are eager to bolster their offensive front with a player of Mailata's caliber. Pittsburgh has been in a period of transition, grappling with inconsistencies in protecting their quarterbacks and establishing a dominant run game. The addition of Mailata could signal a strategic move to shore up these weaknesses, especially given the team's historical emphasis on a strong, physical offensive line that sets the tone for both the offense and the team's identity. The timing of Mailata's arrival at the Steelers facility is raising eyebrows across the league. While contract details remain under wraps, insiders suggest that the Steelers are positioning themselves for a significant commitment, potentially offering Mailata a deal that reflects his value as a foundational piece for their offensive scheme. This move could also be interpreted as a direct response to growing competition in the AFC North, where the Baltimore Ravens and Cleveland Browns have been investing heavily in their offensive lines, making the Steelers' pursuit of a top-tier tackle a critical priority. The potential acquisition of Jordan Mailata would not only add talent, but also bring a unique narrative and fan appeal to the Steelers' locker room. Mailata's journey from a rugby field in Australia to the NFL's biggest stages is a story that resonates far beyond the gridiron. His blend of humility, work ethic, and unexpected skill has made him a fan favorite in Philadelphia, and his presence in Pittsburgh could ignite new excitement among Steelers fans hungry for a return to dominance. However, questions remain about how Mailata would fit into the Steelers' offensive system and locker room culture, transitioning from the Eagles, where the offensive schemes and coaching philosophies differ. Could present challenges. There's also the matter of durability and consistency, as Mailata has had to overcome injuries and the typical learning curve of a relatively new football player. Steelers coaches will undoubtedly be weighing these factors carefully as negotiations unfold. Beyond the technical and tactical considerations, this potential move also raises broader strategic questions about the Steelers' direction under their current management. Are they signaling a shift toward building around younger, high-ceiling players like Mailata? Could this be the first step in a broader overhaul of the offensive unit? And what might this mean for existing linemen on the roster who could see their roles diminished or shifted? While the NFL offseason is always rife with speculation, the reports of Jordan Mailata's arrival at Steelers headquarters add a new layer of intrigue and excitement. If the deal comes to fruition, it could mark a turning point for the Steelers, giving them a much-needed boost in a critical area and perhaps setting the stage for a resurgence in one of the league's most storied franchises. Fans and analysts alike will be watching closely in the coming days to see if this rumor solidifies into reality. For now, it remains a tantalizing possibility, one that could reshape the AFC North's balance of power and add a fascinating new chapter to the extraordinary career of Jordan Mailata. Whether this is the dawn of a new era in Pittsburgh or simply a fleeting rumor, it's clear that the buzz around Mailata and the Steelers is only just beginning. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.